Hello, my name is Carl Widmann. I am the Ford Performance Chief Engineer, and I'm here to introduce you to the 24 model year Raptor R, the best Raptor ever. We are in Johnson Valley today. It's one of the key testing places we do for Raptors here in Borrego Springs. It's about 900,000 acres of open desert. So we've been doing Raptors for a little while. 2009 when we invented the trophy truck that came from the factory direct. So it's been 15 years since we launched the first Raptor, and we've grown to a full family now. There is a Bronco Raptor that's an Ultra 4 inspired vehicle that is rock crawling and driving highway speeds in the desert. There's a Ranger Raptor that we launched about 2 months ago that is the nimble one. Great on a dirt track, real nice to throw around, good on tight trails. So here today is the next generation of the F-150 Raptor, which chassis behind us shows some key components of the 24 model year. We've improved the half shaft angle capability to 35 degrees, which is about 2.5 degrees more than we had before. We've changed the knuckle and the tie rod end to give us the capability to have another 1/2 inch of travel. So on a 35-inch truck, which is an 801, we have actually 14.5 inches of travel in the front and 15 inches of travel in the rear with that trailing arm suspension. So with that travel, what we did is with the 37-inch tires, we're introducing dual live valve, and that is, in essence, adding rebound control. We added jounce control in 2019, and that is jounce controls how big a bump you can go over and how fast you can drive. So we've evolved that capability. We still have all that great capability, but now with rebound control, we can basically give you more controllability. If you think about what rebound does, if you have only one setting of rebound, you have to make that decision if you're going to let it be loose, floaty, and that'll be a very comfortable ride over whoops, or if you make it really, really tight, it's really good for steering. The Ranger Raptor is a great example of that. We did a lot of rebound control in that to give it that character, that superpower. Now with active control on dual live valve, we can let the algorithms decide what you're driving on by measuring the ride height sensors at all 4 corners, taking pitch into account, and we will actually use both sides of the vehicle. If you're in roll, or if you're in pitch, we can tighten it up in jounce and tighten the other side up in rebound. So the algorithms that we do for Ford Performance are pretty unique. We do all the development of the circuit boards, all the development of the software, all the calibration of the software, and all that ideation happens inside a truck in either Borrego or here in Johnson Valley, because all the engineers that work on this are capable of driving these vehicles at the limit in the desert. So they understand where to do the creative things on the algorithms and how to do that to get the most out of a position-sensitive damper that has control of both jounce and rebound. And that's what a lot of people drove today, and that gives you that confidence to really take that vehicle faster when it's paired with 720 horsepower supercharged V8 that pumps out 640 foot-pounds of torque. So we knew we were going to get all that capability, so we actually spent time to improve the steering gear. We improved the ratio, made it faster to 16:1, and then the connection between the steering gear and the steering wheel, which was called an I-shaft, we've actually gone to a ball spline, which increases the stiffness by 60%. So as you dial in that angle, the chassis is going to respond to and then reward you with that cut you do on a mountain road. You can keep the mirror of this big truck up against the rock wall, just easy as pie. So that's all the capability we have in the chassis, which really brings to life what is a Raptor, that capability of a high travel suspension with a really custom shock to take all that road input away from you in the car so you can actually position the vehicle where you want to position on the adventure you're going to take. So this is a rolling chassis of a Raptor for 24 model year. So the blues are all the unique frame components. So you can see from a base F-150, we've raised the shock tower to get all that travel in it. The yellow are all unique chassis parts that we use to get that suspension both moved out for track width and to take the loads and take the angles with that high travel. So you'll see that on the front. And the rear suspension is very unique. We launched this with the Gen 3 in 21.5. but it is basically a meter long trailing arm. It's called a 5-link, and that is the ability to hold that axle in place. You can see what a lever arm we have to hold that axle in place, to take all that torque and put it down and give you that great acceleration. And also when you're going over bumps, we control the axle through the shock, and that's where we can give you that capability that that tire is planted when you need it planted. When there's a big bump, it'll isolate it but bring it back. And this coil that's made by NHK, if you actually unwind it all, it like reach all the way to here on the frame. Just an amazing capability to have a spring, a nice low rate spring for us. And then you can kind of see here, we actually take the 37s. We're the only original equipment manufacturer that sells 37s from the factory, and we actually mount a full road wheel 37 up under the truck, because there's nails out there in the world on your adventures, and you want to have a truck that has a spare tire that comes with you. And you can see we've changed the bumper systems. It's all blue parts, so those are all parts that are unique. We've located a winch in a specific location to get that package in there and held it in place. That gives you an idea. And then the shocks, as we said, these are the dual live valves that we have. And then in here is the key component that makes it work. In essence, you'll put a coil around here and it'll develop a field, because this is steel, copper, steel, and that'll open up a spool valve. And that's how we create, in essence, that change of 100 times a second, the damping in the vehicle. So you can see the new headlamp that came with the F-150. We'll take the chrome off it, and then of course it'll be lit. This is a new grille that wraps around, gives it a nice luxurious appearance, but a nice wide appearance. And then we've done a power weave on the FORD to make it stick it out for 24. And the modular bumper is new for 24. It's actually a forged tow hook that goes with it. This center section is used on the tremor. It could be a dealer installed option for a winch. And then our extensions are unique, and because of the track width we have, and it's really designed just to have the rigid lights in it, which are in essence a fog, and another one that's connected to the overhead switches. And we really just cut it back as quick as possible to give a real good appearance of the tire. And what you're seeing today is Shelter Green, which is a new color for 24 that's Raptor specific. And on the interior, I think the big things you'll see on the interior is a lot of just a little bit of refinement on the interior colors and textures. Most of the stuff is there's a HUD, so there'll be a screen that comes up in front of you that has a Baja screen that you can see just the minimal stuff on RPM and how fast you're going. And then the cluster, we've added in performance view. So that came from Bronco Raptor, and it is very minimalistic. So when you're driving really fast in the desert, you just get the information you need with no extraneous things to distract you from looking as far downfield as possible, because that's 720 horsepower motor and really moves you along pretty fast. So the software improvements, really from the interior perspective, you'll see the latest sync on the center stack, and the cluster has been refined to give you a better displayed, better pixels. But from that perspective, really the software in this system has a lot of relationship to the F-150. Unique stuff is really, again, the performance view and all of the stuff we do for the Raptor and in Baja mode, right? Those are the big things.